All right, class. First off, as always, good day. I'm glad you're here. So today we're going to be talking about incentives. This is something that a lot of guys when I've been teaching it in class, have told me that you never heard of the word, you have no idea what it means. But the thing is, as we went through the lessons, a lot of people were like, "Oh yeah, I know what that is. I've done that before." So you might be one of those people. Okay, so let's look through this lesson. Let's look at the objective. We're going to analyze the effectiveness of negative incentives. We're going to find out what those are later. We're going to examine the different types of incentives, and we're going to create an argument on whether incentives always work. The key word is always. All right. Now, the thing is with incentives, we're going to be talking about the economic sense of incentives, but incentives also work with daily life. Okay, and hopefully you'll be able to see the connection. Now, your warm up this time around is going to be a little bit different for like the next month or so, because some of you guys are taking the LPAC test, and the English department and the history department are working together to help you write more, write, try to get help you write better, structure your paragraphs better, things like that. Um, the only bad thing is, since you are not in class and you're watching this video, it's basically a one-way um, projection. It's like I can't hear what you're saying, can't hear what you're thinking. I can't, interact with you in any which way. And this is where it kind of hurts you in a sense, where it's imperative that you show up to class in the Zoom meetings, because we went through this all together with everyone in the Zoom meeting, and it helped. I think it really did help a lot of other students to hear what other people had in mind, and it made their writing better. Okay, now I'm going to try to help you as much as I can. Again, it's only a one-way communication here, but I'm hoping that maybe I can like get your mind going, give you some pointers. Okay, but next week I'm going to be helping you less, and the week after that it's going to be even more less. Um, so hopefully by the time the testing comes, you'll be able to uh, write a full, page or more without any help. You'll get what we're trying to get teach you how to set up your ideas, how to put it down, how it should look, and things like that. Okay, so hopefully you haven't started writing yet. But the question asks you, how has your life changed from when you were a child to now as a teenager? What specific things have changed? So we are looking for certain things and specifically, right? Now it's do not put down, oh, I'm taller and I gain more weight. That's too easy. That's, just throw that away. Let's challenge ourselves, okay? So some of the things that some students were saying is like their responsibilities have changed from when they were a kid to now as a teenager. When you were a kid, you basically your only chore was like to clean your room, right? And as you got older, you had more responsibilities, helping around the house, maybe watch your brother and sisters. You might have a job. Some of you guys might have kids already, so that's a lot of responsibility, you know. So that's what I mean. Put down as a kid, what was your responsibilities, and then as now as a teenager, what responsibilities do you have? Give specifics. Write more in your paragraph about one of these topics. Okay, so there's responsibility. There's entertainment. What entertained you as a kid, 6, 7, 8 years old, till now? Is it still the same? You know, some people put down like, I used to be entertained with like dolls. Well, what kind of dolls? Were they Barbies? Were they Brats? What kind were they? And now it's like, oh no, I don't play with dolls. I watch stuff online. Well, be specific. What? Is it YouTube? Is it TikToks? Is it random stuff on Instagram? I mean, what is it? Okay. So that's what I mean. Take a topic and you fluff it up with details. Okay. So other topics that other students brought up during class, um, the self-image, how they dress, things like that, how they look. Um, some others said their self-care. Some kids like were, oh, I'm not gonna brush my teeth, I'm not gonna take a shower. They did that kind of stuff when they were a kid, but now, they're really taking care of themselves now. They, give examples about that. Um, what else was there? Some they talk about sports. Some didn't like sports when they were younger, now they do. Some was vice versa. Um, they didn't like sports when they were a kid, now they like it as adults or young adults. Um, their view of the world, view on life, their perception of things. The household has changed. Some people they have older brothers and sisters. Now they moved out. Now they're the only one there. And they were treated you know, like crap by the older brothers and sisters. Now they're gone. Now they are the only one there. You know, so stuff like that. You know, but again, make sure you keep to one idea per paragraph, and then you give examples of it from when you were a kid and as a teenager. Okay. Now here's the thing: give yourself 5 minutes to write. Try to get 3 paragraphs. Now, if you don't get the 3 paragraphs in 5 minutes, no problem. Okay, no problem, guys. Um, this first one is your bar. We're just seeing how much you can write at a certain amount of time. And then next week, let's see if we can do a little bit better. So if you only get 1 paragraph, but it's a good paragraph, awesome. Next week, let's try to get a little bit more. Let's see if we can get a paragraph and maybe half a paragraph, 1.5 paragraphs. Let's see if we can get the grammar to be better. Let's see if we can get uh, the paragraph structure better. You know, any little bit that you get to be better, that's what we're looking for. Okay, but the thing is too, since you're home and you're doing this, it's going to be hard. Because you can easily say, "Oh, I did my best," but did you? Now, if you really did, you gave it your all that 5 minutes, and you got a paragraph and a half, then awesome. But if you just wrote 3 sentences and, well, that's the best I can do, and you know deep down inside that's not the best you can do, you're only cheating yourself. You're only holding yourself back. There's no one else holding you back but you. So don't do that to yourself. Try your best. Okay, and like I said, next week let's see if we can do better. Okay. So go ahead, do that. Put the 5 minutes on your phone or on the computer and go at it. Okay. But we're going to be moving on in 3, 2, 1. So incentives. This is anything that motivates a person to behave in a certain way. Okay. Now, when it comes to economics and even in life, it's the preference as your needs, wants, and desires. So if you've ever had like little brothers and sisters, cousins, you know, or even someone just annoying you, and if you've ever said, "Hey, I'll give you $5 if you like shut up and you go somewhere else, or you don't bother me for half an hour, I'll get you this." If you've ever done that, that was the incentive. What you promised to give them, that's the incentive. Or if someone has ever done that to you, oh, if you get these good grades, I'll give you $50, $100. That's your incentive. That's your carrot. All right. You'll hear me use that term quite a bit when I talk about incentives. Now, in economics, there's 5 different types of incentives: tax incentives, financial incentives, subsidies, which we talked about last week, tax rebates, and negative incentives. We'll be getting to that one later on, and some of you guys may have experienced that without even knowing it. So, tax incentives, this is basically a reduction in taxes that encourage spending on certain items or activities. Okay. A great example that happened several years ago was the mortgage interest deduction. Basically, when someone bought a house, they took out a mortgage. It ensures the money paid towards the mortgage interest isn't taxed. That these guys aren't taxed for that. Um, and that's what something when you get older, you're gonna realize, I'm paying so much taxes and things like that. Um, but so when you get a tax break, tax incentive, you appreciate it. You love that. Because the thing is, why they did this was to get people to buy property for one thing, and then basically to try to encourage people to buy a home and take pride in it. This is yours. You're going to want to fix it. You want to decorate it. So what are you going to do? You're going to buy stuff from other stores, Walmart, Target, wherever. The money you use in town locally, that money stays there. So when you go to a store like Target or Walmart in your town, that store gets the money, and then they pay their workers who usually live in the town. They get money, and then they spend it on stuff, and that what makes the economy go round. You know, is that the money is being used to buy things, and then the company pays the workers, and the workers then buy things, and so on and so forth. That's what they want. Okay. Um, Also, tax incentives are given to corporations. And a lot of times cities will tell companies, "Hey, why don't you build a plant here in our city? You know, we'll give you a tax break for like 30 years." You know, because why? This company that's going to build a plant in their area, a warehouse or wherever, they're going to be bringing jobs, and jobs mean people are going to have employment. People are going to be paying taxes. People are going to be buying things. All right. So that's what they want. Now, remember I told you guys about the carrot? This is a great picture of it. Okay. Financial incentives is basically anything with monetary benefit given to the consumer, the employers, corporation, organization, whomever. Okay. Um, Now, some companies give their employees stock options. Here's some money. You can instead of giving you money, they give you stock options. You own part of the company. Um, and then some of them do commission. Where you get paid, yeah, like the minimum wage or whatever. But the more you sell, the more you can make. So if you're a good salesman, you can make quite a bit of money, unless the place you work for has a cap. If they have a cap, that means any money you make for the company afterwards above that cap, you don't get it. The company does. Okay. So you've hit the cap. That's it. There's no more incentive to work. Because if you hit that cap, you're like, well, I'm not going to get paid for that stuff. It's going to go to the company. So why should I keep selling? Okay. As for the consumers, you and me, the buyers, sales, discounts, buy one, get one, 50% off, stuff like that. That basically lures people to go buy stuff and maybe even more. Like, I was going to buy two anyway. I might as well, if it's buy one, get four. Okay. So here's your question. Do you believe you're a sucker for sales? If so, what type of sales really draws you in? Um, Is it like buy one get one, buy two get one, 50% off, 60% off? If you don't think you're a sucker for sales, what would it take to get you to buy something that you really don't need? It's kind of like, I would want it, but I'm not dying for it. What would it take? What kind of sale? You know, so buy one get one, the other one 50% off. Buy one get one. Would it be like have to be like 80% off? What would it take? Okay, so take a minute, write down your response, pause the video because we're moving on in three, two, one. Now, subsidies, I'm not going to go too much into because we talked about it last week. Um, but just really quickly, it's government programs to help companies grow, or to maintain a certain level of the prices, things like that. Um, Now, one of the ones for people like you and me, the one that happened several years ago was the solar energy, right? They basically said, if you buy solar panels for your house, right, the federal government will give you a tax break. The states, a lot of states said, yeah, we'll give you a tax break. And even some towns, some cities basically said, we'll give you tax breaks if you get solar panels. So some places, depending where you live, you could get a good tax break or subsidy. Now, negative incentives, this is one of those things that you see a lot of parents do. It's also known as disincentives. This is basically punishing people for taking certain actions. Usually, I've seen parents do this with their kids, with their phones, iPads, PlayStations, Xboxes, things like that. Um, they get a bad grade, they're talking back, they get in fights, something like that. The parents will take away that item. Now, the thing is, research has shown that people will behave a certain way faster when something they really like, they desire it, they can't live without it. I use that with quotations. You can't live without it, is taken away from them, as opposed to them getting something. So to get someone to actually like do something, they say don't give them stuff because sometimes they might be like, well, I can live without it. Yeah, I want it, but I've gone this long without it. I can go more. But if you go for their heart, the phone, the PlayStation, things like that, you take that away from them. Like, well, your grades are suffering, so this is the reason. Research has shown that a lot of times those people will behave better so they can get that item back. All right. Now, here in California, great example. They used before the pandemic, if you use bags, they charge you 10 cents per bag. Now, if you use a reusable bag, um, some stores would actually give you, like they would actually pay you. Like Target would give you 5 cents if you used a reusable bag. Okay. Um, so they charge you for not bringing reusable bags. That's the negative incentive. And the incentive for bringing a reusable bag is you get 5 cents. So they really try to get people to use those reusable bags. So here's my question to you. If you've ever, were in that situation where you got your phone, your tablet, your Xbox, PlayStation, whatever, taken away because of something you did negative, you bad grades, you got in a fight, you hit your little sister, whatever it may be. Do you think negative incentives actually work? Why or why not? So if you have a personal story, share it. Did it set you straight? Or was that just a temporary fix? It's like, okay, fine, I won't get in a fight. 3 months later, 2 months later, you're like, oh, I haven't gotten a fight. Can I have my Xbox back, my PlayStation, or my phone, whatever? Then you get it back, and your grades go down, or you get in another fight, or whatever. So, did it change you, or was it just a temporary fix? And if you don't have any of those personal experiences, from what you've seen and what you've heard, does it actually work to take something away from somebody and they won't get it back until they act right or the error is corrected? What do you think? Okay, so pause the video. Okay, I'm going to be moving on in 3, 2, 1. All right, so lastly is your exit ticket question. Remember, pick only one of these. The first one is, have you had negative incentives done to you? What was taken and did you learn your lesson? So again, if you, just like the last question, if you had a personal experience, share it. Okay. But be sure you put the specifics things like what was taken and did you actually learn your lesson or did something happen down the road? You were good for a while, but then, something happened. Okay. The next one is what was the last incentive you were offered or received? What did you have to do to get it? So did someone tell you, hey, if you get for every A you get in your, for your classes, you get $50. Did something like that was something like that offered to you? I've heard some, especially athletes, if you get a triple double, I'll get you this, you know, um, if you get one, two sacks, you know, you get this, I'll get you this. Um, so things like that. Were you ever offered? What was the last time you were offered one, or last time you received one, an offer like that, an incentive? And the last question is, do incentives always work? The key thing is in this part is always. Does it always work? Whether it's positive, positive incentive or a negative incentive, um, what do you think? Do they always work? So justify your answer, back it up with some facts. Okay. Um, Now, once you're finished with the exit ticket, you are done for the class. Okay. Hopefully, you learned something new. Hopefully, this opened up your eyes a little bit and you're able to see um, if somebody in your family has done something like this to you. Have you done this with other people and you didn't even know about it? That you were doing this, that this type of incentive thing. Um, so, again, like I said, hopefully your eyes are a little bit more open and that you're able to see um, that it doesn't just apply to businesses and money and some of that, it applies to real life. Okay. So, you guys take care, you be safe, and I'll see you later. Okay.